In this video presentation, we will discuss how to start trading in stock and commodity market. Of course, trading in financial market is a very successful online business. Always you should consider trading as a serious business. So for any business, you need a business plan. For trading also, you should have a trading plan which defines the long-term and short-term goals in terms of how much returns you are expecting from your investment. Assume that you are going to pump in some 10 lakh rupee for trading. So you should have a long-term goal like how much returns you are expecting per annum, and you divide that by 12 so that it comes to around how much returns you are expecting per month. So based on all these your returns expectation, you will allocate funds. So allocation of fund is very critical for any new business. So for starting any business, we used to allocate funds for infrastructure, rent, purchase of properties, inventories, and all. Any new business will not right away give you profit. We need to have some running cost also, and you will analyze the risk and reward of these situations. In the same way, allocation of fund is very critical for trading. So if you want to do trading as a business, you should allocate proper funds for that. So most of the traders does not get that point. Always this is a very big question for discussion: how much fund is required for starting this trading as a business? So most of the customers, most of the clients who want to start trading, always they come up with this idea: what is the minimum amount required for starting this business? Here we are going to discuss what is the optimum amount required for starting this trading as a business. So we are going to discuss that in detail. Before that, in order to achieve your long-term and short-term goals, the roadmap for achieving these goals depends upon the trading strategies. When you come to trading strategies, you will apply lot of analysis, maybe technical analysis, fundamental analysis, or few may depend on the advisory services. So not few, many people can depend on their advisory services provided by the member broker or by the any third party advisory firms. So what is the purpose of all these analysis? It comes to a single area where it decides where to enter the market, where to exit the market, how to enter the market, how to exit from the market. So and the more focus is on risk and reward and optimizing the stop loss. So the entry point, so if you do technical analysis, if you do fundamental analysis, or you get advice from any broker, the nutshell is, yes, very simple message: where you are going to buy or sell a particular financial instrument. Or buying is one part, buying or selling is one part. When you exit, it has two process. One, when you book, you can book your profit and exit, or you can book your loss and exit. Booking your profit is called target, and when you book your loss, when you accept your loss, it is called stop loss. So the target is often defined as a reward, and stop loss is defined as a risk. So the trading strategy analyze the risk and reward ratios. For example, for any particular date, whatever analysis I am using, I may be using technicals, or I may be using fundamentals, or I may get advisory services from other companies. But what the prime focus is, what is the risk and reward ratios for achieving 100 points, whether I'm going to keep 50 points as a target, or I'm going to which is 2:1 ratio. So or for 100 points profit, I will have 100 points stop loss. That is risk reward ratio is 1:1. So sometimes it is on the opposite side also, based upon the probability when we talk about options market. So any trading strategy comes to this point. It decides on where to enter, how to exit. So the prime focus is on the stop loss. In order to arrive how much optimum fund is required for trading or starting this business, you should fix the stop loss range. So it should be constant. So if one time for one trade you cannot apply 1:1, and the next trade you cannot change it. The trading strategy is a very disciplined rule which is the roadmap for success. It is the rule which you need to follow for every trade. So that is defined in the trading strategy, and we all know that we don't have any control of the market movement. Okay, the market can move up, down, it can open with a gap, it can open with a gap down, anything can happen in the market. We don't have any control, no individual is having control over that. But as a trader, you have complete control over your risk and reward, where you are going to book your profit, where you are going to book your loss. So this area a trader has complete control. So your prime focus when you fix the trading strategy, it should be on the stop loss, because only if you understand the stop loss, then we can then you will be in a position to arrive the optimum fund record for trading. So for arriving this or for answering this question, you need to fix two parameters. One is stop loss, which is in the trader's control, so that should be defined in the trading strategy. And the next thing is margin requirements. So margin requirement, the exchange or the regulators, they decide the margin requirements. So on the daily basis, so they have control over the margin requirement, which is a constant thing. So what is the margin? So now we need to understand what is the margin and how much margin is required for what segments. So now we need to understand something about trading segments. So I'm going to put it very simple. The types of trading segments we have cash segment, we have derivative segments. In the derivative segment, we have futures derivative, options derivative. We have at present in India, we have actively we can trade actively in these three segments. The cash segment is where you can trade and you can take delivery of any stocks to a demat account. So it is called cash segment, equity segment, whatever segments you can say, but it is designed to take delivery and sometimes you can trade in that also. The future segment, here is the area where the margin comes to play. The futures derivative, we need to pay sufficient amount of margin. I will come back to that point. But in the option derivatives, there are two types. You can be a buyer of option or a seller of option. If you are a buyer of option, it is the premium which you are buying multiplied by the lot size, or if you are the seller of option like futures market, you need to pay the margin. Now you will have this doubt, what is this margin? This is our Nest Investor trading platform. I had taken TCS as the example. Here you could see that in TCS, EQ means equity market, which is the cash segment. Now the current trading price is 3099. If you see here, the bid quantity is the buying quantity, the ask quantity is the selling quantity. The number is even one share, two shares you can buy and sell. The bid quantity means number of shares available for buying, and ask quantity is number of shares available for selling. So it varies from any number. You can buy one shares, two shares, like see, you can buy one share, you can buy two shares, whatever shares you want. But here you have an option called CNC. When you place CNC, which means that the system knows that you are going to take delivery of the shares. If you place MIS, it means that it is for day trading. Only for cash segment we provide 5 times margin exposures, and but the difference between the cash and the futures, the same TCS, you could see for cash segment the rate is 3099, but for futures it is 3109. There will be some premium or discount in this segment. So as a trader, what you need to see is in the future bid quantity and ask quantity. For TCS, you see everything is in the multiple of 300, which means that we call this as one lot. So either you can buy 300 or you can buy 600 in multiples of 600. We call it as lots. So in futures market you need to buy in lots, but in cash market you can buy one or two shares. Even depends upon the available fund you have in your trading account. So that is a key difference. But in the futures market you see a date attached to the symbol, which is 27 March 21. So it says that in simple terms, whatever you are buying or selling on or before 27 of March, close the position and exit the market. Then roll over to the new contract. You will have here you have March. So this is the options. I'll show for future stock in TCS. See here you have May, June, July. So 27 May 21 you should exit within this particular day. So that's all. We call this as a expiry. But for 1 rupee price movement in the futures market, for example, you are buying at 3108 and you are selling at 3109, which means you will gain 300 rupees as profit. Or if you buy it at 3108 and if you sell at 3107, it is a 1 point loss, which is 300 rupees as lot, since we are purchasing as lots. A single lot is equal to 300 shares. You need to multiply, in multiples of 300 you should buy. So for every individual stocks and index, the lot size will vary, okay, based on that. But in the options market, you see, I have added the 27 May expiry options. So you can be a buyer of option or seller of option. If you buy this, you will notice the LTP is only 74 rupees. Okay, the LTP is only 74 rupees. So here this is the difference. This 74 into 75. So the value is very small compared to what you are going to pay as a margin for buying a futures market. So what I am going to do is I'll show you that. So in order to check how much margin is required to buy TCS today, you can go to our website and check gwsindia.in slash span margin, or you can go to the span margin menu where we have uploaded all today's margin details. If you go and check TCS for May 27, it shows the margin is 1,95,000. So in order to buy TCS at this price, in order to buy TCS at this current price, minimum, because based upon the closing price they have posted the margin requirement, but the market, when the market is live, the price changes. So maybe approximately within 1,95,000 to 2 lakh rupees you need to pay as a margin. But in case of options market, you see 74 into 75, so it is 5,000. Within 5 to 6,000 rupees you can get all the benefits of the futures market, but there are some ifs and buts. But for understanding the options very clearly, you can go to our YouTube channel and see our options playlist, basics of options playlist also. But for a trader, you need to understand that you pay less for options market, you pay much for futures market. And in the futures and options market, in the futures and as your option seller, you need to pay the margin as described by the exchange, and it is going to be a very huge sum in terms of huge lakhs, in few lakhs. But in equity market, you can buy 1 shares, 2 shares, and even you can day trade in the equity segment, but you need to close your position before 3:15 now. So these are all the segments we have where you can trade. So as a trader, you should know that if you buy something and if you sell something, for 1 point increase or decrease, what is it going to be your profit and loss. So if you are going to do that in the futures and options, you need to do in terms of lots, but when it comes to equity segment, it is not in terms of lots. That is the understanding you need to have. So with this, let us go back and jump into the margin requirements. So there are two types of margin requests. One is initial margin and the maintenance margin. So many can explain this margin requirement in different way, but we prefer to do this as initial margin and maintenance margin. Initial margin is fixed by the exchange on the daily basis. There are many margin calculators available online. You can use that for checking the live margins. So the initial margin is fixed by the exchange for all the stocks and index and commodities. So you need not worry about that. It is constant for all the brokers. So it is actually the minimum amount required for placing a trade in futures or options or any financial derivative instruments. Okay, so initial margin is the basic amount, minimum amount required for placing a trade. But the maintenance margin, okay, the maintenance margin is also called the buffer amount, what you have apart from the initial margin to keep your positions live. Okay, so both are very critical. So now I think you have some understanding about the margins. So the initial margin is fixed by the exchange. Now the question is how much maintenance margin you should maintain. That is the other question. So how to fix this maintenance margin, whether I should have if I am purchasing a TCS for 2 lakh, so whether I should have initial margin as 50k, sorry, maintenance margin as 50,000 or 1 lakh, how much, how to fix that. Let us try to understand that. I have taken an example for gold mini. Why I have taken this gold mini commodity example? Because it's good for beginners. See, the initial margin size will be somewhere around 40 to 45,000. So I'll show you there. Here you have MCX. When you click MCX, you see number of things and all the commodities. In here you can see gold mini 4th June, which is going to expire, 43,451 and approximately 43,300. So it will be between or less than 50,000. So if you are going to look for some futures derivatives where the margin is less than 1 lakh or less than 50,000, you should focus on gold mini and silver mini. There are no other instruments available in the financial market in India. So the initial margin, so you see that the lot size is 100, but this 43,361 is for 10 grams. So you should understand that the lot size is 100. So how to calculate the maintenance margin? So the initial margin is fixed by the exchange. Now coming to the trading strategy, you would have defined in your trading strategy what is the stop loss. So normally what you do, you will backtest some strategy and then you will try to apply it. So normally we will, if you use any technical indicators, you will backtest for 1 year or 6 months. So if you are following advisory services, they would have provided you a performance report. Based on the performance report, you can backtest. What you need to see there is the maximum stop loss, the max 10 stop loss. Take the maximum 10 stop loss achieved or hit during the last 3 months or last 6 months based on the backtest report. That is the maximum drawdown in your trading. So the stop loss may vary. It is not a very constant. It can vary to certain range that should be defined in the trading strategy. So I have assumed that for gold mini, it is logical to have a 2,500 rupees stop loss, which means that 250 points. So it's very logical to have that. So I have taken 10 stop loss and it comes around 29,500. You divide that by 10, you get the average 2,950. So you multiply this value, so you will buy 10 and you will get it at 29,500. So this amount is the maintenance margin you should maintain. Adding that to the initial margin, it is around 43,361. Now the total is 72,861. So in order to do trading in gold mini as a profession, as a business, you should minimum have the optimum amount of 72,865. You can round it off and put it as 75,000 is the base minimum amount required for this if your stop loss range is around 2,500 to 3,000. But if you are applying some strategy which has a stop loss range of 5,000, so the average is, so if you calculate the last 10 stop and it comes around 5,000, then you should 5,000 multiplied by 10 is 50,000. 50,000 plus this 43,000, which gives you somewhere around 93,000. So 93k or less than 1 lakh is the optimum amount required for trading gold mini. So based upon the stop loss, the drawdown, the max drawdown for the last 10 tradings, not last 10 maximum drawdown in the backtest month, maybe last 3 or 6 months. So you should add the maintenance margin to the initial margin. Now you can ask me how this works. I'll tell you that logically, this is very logical. It means that you have calculated in the last 6 months what is last 6 or 3 months what will be the possible maximum loss you can achieve. So the average is you have taken. So what are the chances that we have taken 10 working days, which means 2 weeks. So only if you get a max loss continuously for 2 weeks, what will happen, you will lose all the maintenance margin. Okay, you will lose all the maintenance margin and you will have only the initial margin. So always you should think that this initial margin is the deposit amount what you are paying to the exchange, and you are going to get it back. The business, for running this business, you should focus only on the maintenance margin, not on the initial margin. So initial margin is something you give to the exchange and you can take it back, but maintenance margin is for adjusting the profit and loss. So what are the chances that continuously for 10 working days you will hit the max loss? But I'll tell you that there are chances that you can go for a loss. So there are chances, we cannot completely deny that, but what is the possibility that always you hit the maximum loss for the last 10 trades? So a business is all about sustaining and running. Trading, you should treat trading in that way also. Only if you have sufficient funds, you can run a business. Any business can sustain if it has the enough sufficient funds required for running the business. Most of the business goes in loss because of shortage in funds. Trading is also that. So people don't allocate the optimum amount required for trading. They always look for the minimum amount required for trading, not the optimum amount required for trading. So you should go to your trading strategy and see the maximum drawdown you can achieve based on the strategy. So you split the margin into two parts. One is for running the trading as business, you have you have initial margin. For calculation of daily profit and loss, you have the maintenance margin. So if you understand this concept, if you apply this money management, it is a simple calculation. What will happen is, you will every day you will run this business. There will not be any single day you will stop trading. At least you can come to a conclusion whether you are in the right path or not. If something is wrong, you can go back to your trading strategy, adjust and come back to this. So if you are going to consider trading as a serious business, you should always do this. Allocation of fund for trading is very critical. Now let us see how we can arrive the optimum amount required for trading in Nifty index options as a buyer. So the average premium value we have assumed to be 250 rupees. So if you see the weekly options, which is with a minimum of 10 to 15 days for expiry, always it will have a premium value of around 250. So 250, the premium value multiplied by the lot size. So as a buyer, it is a debit trade, so you need to pay 12,500 rupees. So the margin requirement, we cannot say this as a margin requirement. The amount of funds which is debited from your trading account is 12,500 rupees. This could be the maximum loss you can lose. So it is very less compared to the futures market. So assuming that the max 10 loss, so we have taken the second assumption as 50 point average to 50 to 60 point as a stop loss. So it is 50 point stop loss for option market works very good for Nifty index options. So calculating the average, it comes around 29,500 when you include the initial margin, which is going to be the amount which you are going to pay for buying this option. So it comes around 42,000. So when you buy and sell it, what happens is that the calculating all the loss, the calculations will happen. So in a nutshell, you should understand for trading in options, almost you need to have 42,000 rupees as in your trading account, which is going to be the optimum amount required for trading in Nifty index options. The same thing holds good for Bank Nifty also. So the key point is, assume that this margin, the initial margin of 12,500 is different, and only you will adjust the profit and loss in this 29,500 rupees. So what is the chances, what is the probability that continuously in the next coming 2 weeks, that's a 10 trading session, you will always face maximum loss? The probability is very less. So if you maintain this 50,000 or 42,000 within this range as a trading investment for trading in options, so there are no chances you are going to stop your trading. You will continue this trading till you get success, or even if you get failures, there are a lot of room that you will go back and see what's wrong in your trading strategy. So So I think we have made our point very clear. So in these all these examples I have taken financial instruments which can support trading for less than 1 lakh, and it depends upon the success ratio. When you get success, you can gradually increase your investment also. So this is very important. Again, I want to stress this point. We have seen customers, most of the customers, they lose in the market. They have lost in the market just because they don't get this picture very clearly, how much fund is required for trading in any financial instrument. So you should always consider the safety parameters also. So if you want to do trading as a business, kindly follow this step and you will be successful. So as we had said earlier, sustaining any business is very important. If you want to reach your long-term goal, you should continuously walk or march forward towards that. You cannot stop trading. You can do trading one day, and because without funds or for margin calls, you don't trade for the next day. So when you deal with financial instruments, it is very much important that you keep the funds available, optimum funds available. If you want to open a trading or demat account, please give a missed call to 937 927. Our sales executive will assist you. Visit our website www.gwcindia.in, or you can call our customer support 044 4032 9999 anytime. We are ready to help you, guide you to become a successful trader. I hope this presentation is of some use for you. Please visit our YouTube channel. We have a lot of educational contents there. Thanks a lot for watching our videos. Happy trading. Take care.